Hey friends, this is T again with another reaction video, and today we're going to be doing a reaction on Hollywood is fleeing woke Hollywood in droves, and that's a good thing. And this is by NERDROTIC. I love this guy's videos. I think he's a fantastic. Not only is he informative, but he's funny at the same time, okay? And I wish a lot of these late night show hosts were funny and informative, but unfortunately they like to lie and exaggerate, and they're not even funny at the same time, okay? So I stopped watching late night shows a long time ago, okay? Now I'm really excited about this. We're just after the election. Everybody knows that Trump won in a landslide. I mean, he kicked butt, and everybody was nervous. Everybody that I talked to that supported Trump or whatever, they was very nervous, thinking that he either was going to barely win or not win at all, one or the other. They did not see this coming, and I believe the liberals didn't see this coming as well. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to shove this kind of stuff in the liberals' faces. I am conservative. I am a Christian, so I don't want to shove this in their face. Now, if Biden and Kamala Harris was doing well, and if the economy was good and everybody was thriving, and they didn't come up with a lot of crazy stuff, man, I wouldn't have cared. You know, if she would have won again, I wouldn't have cared at all. You know, I probably wouldn't even voted, you know, because it wasn't that deep before with me. A lot of times I didn't vote because things were going okay. I didn't feel like it was necessary. You know, we had good and we had bad, but nothing really crazy. Nothing to the point where what we're going through right now, where, you know, high gas prices, high food prices, all these wars happening, all the other crazy stuff, man. I mean, we had bad things in the past, but things just seem to be pretty different now. And that got a lot of people out there, including myself, to get out there and vote. So I'm saying, I understand how the liberals feel. I know they're disappointed. I don't really want to like joke them or make fun of them or put it in their face or what have you. You know, they're very disappointed. They really wanted Harris to win, and they did everything they could, and a lot of questionable stuff too, to try to win. And unfortunately, it just didn't work for them this time. It worked in 2020, and people got a lot of things to say about that election, including Trump, how things went. But I don't even want to talk about that. I'm just saying that a lot of people really wanted this to happen for Harris, but it just didn't. And so many people out there are disappointed. But this particular video is about Hollywood leaving. Now, they threatened to leave at first, and they did that in 2016 as well, but they didn't really leave. I mean, of course, they have houses or what have you in other countries or whatever, but they kind of stayed in the United States basically. So it was an empty threat. But now they really talking about just leaving now, because they making it seem like it's so horrifying. The man only gonna do 4 years. How much? Look, even if he would plan on doing something evil and crazy, how much stuff can he really do in 4 years? Really, right? And this is his last term too. So to me, it seemed like they just being dramatic about the whole thing. They just want to let people know that their fears was true, and everybody should be afraid now that he's in office. But nobody really afraid. Everybody that I talk to aren't afraid about this stuff, okay? It's just these people just being seriously dramatic. And I think this is what NERDROTIC is planning on getting into. And I can't wait to see this video, because this guy's so funny, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. But before we do, please like, subscribe, and share this video. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you know whenever we come out with new videos, okay? All right, let's get with it.
Hi, you guys. Hi, Avengers.
Hey, Scarlett.
This is so cringe-worthy, man. This is so cringe-worthy. Now, back in the day, I would have been really disappointed by this, okay? Because I used to look up to actors. I used to think they were good people. I used to believe that because they did movies about the working man and people going through hardships, that they really believed in this stuff. But they really don't. All they want to do is get paid and be popular. That's it. Now that I've gotten older, now that I've gotten wiser, after Trump and after what happened in 2020, you start to realize something. These people don't give a damn about you. A damn about you, okay? They already rich. They're going to move on no matter who's in office. But you know, they literally had to come on here using the Avengers now. This is how out of touch they are. Using the Avengers, thinking they're gonna sway people. And this is after the fact of Trump winning, okay? It didn't work. Just to let you know.
As a celebrity, I know all about.
Oh, I'm so sorry to stop this. Now I've seen this clip right here. I have seen it somewhere else. This guy's funny, man, right? And he loved making fun of celebrities because he think they're ridiculous. And he's right. And he been on, I think, one or maybe two award shows that he would make fun of them in their faces. And oh, you know they hate him. You know they hate him. But the guy's right, man, because you know they just blow things out of proportion, make it seem like they're going through all these hardships when they rich. Okay? It's just their feelings are hurt. He think they stupid. And in this clip, he's making fun of them because they every time Trump runs or wins or whatever, they always threaten to leave the country and never do. It's insane, man. It's insane.
Stuff.
I think Kamala Harris needs a catchphrase.
Like science and politics.
They don't really respect you. They laugh at you.
Nah, he's talking about conservatives, but it's really the Democrats that don't respect you or like you or any of that. It's crazy stuff, man.
And your back. They think you're stupid.
So trust me when I tell you who you should vote for.
Kamala Harris will protect you.
I have to admit, man, when it comes to Harrison Ford, he's been very disappointing. Back in the day when he was younger, man, he seemed like a no-nonsense guy. If it's something stupid, he wouldn't back it. And when people ask him stupid questions, he'll blow it off and like, you don't ask me stupid stuff like that. I used to like that Harrison Ford, but that changed. Ever since he got older now, he just really been going with this woke stuff. You know, even though his face looked like he don't want to do it, and his voice sound like he don't want to do it, but yet he's still going along with it. Maybe because he's starting to wind down and he want to keep making money and stuff like that. So he's willing to sacrifice his dignity to do this, okay? Now, do I still like Harrison Ford? Yes, I do still like him. But it's just a shame to see it in somebody like him. Back in the day, you would have never got him to do stuff like this. But now, I guess it's just like a regular thing now.
You're right to disagree with her.
If you don't vote the right way, it's like a hate crime. It makes me sad and angry, and I'll leave the country. And you don't want that.
NERDROTIC.com.
Greetings, you over 1 million hellions and the 40% who haven't subscribed yet. Listen, do you smell something? That's the breaking winds of change in Hollywood. And as Tinseltown looks down at the fiery but mostly peaceful disaster of their own making, I'm reminded it's been 4 years since Hollywood's first shutdown, where in truth, they were deemed essential over millions of their fellow Californians and allowed to work. And they used that time to make a lot of bad films and streaming content, root on the riots from the comfort of their $6 million mansion, saying,
you know, that was a shame, though. During the V situation, right, in 2020, yeah, Newsom shut down everybody but Hollywood. He let them work. You know, they run around talking about everything but dangerous. You can't be outside. You got to wear a mask and all this kind of stuff. But he let Hollywood work, though, while he made everybody else, including people in school, stay home. See, this was the start of when people's eyes started to open. Start to realize, oh my God, they've been really lying to us. I mean, you know politicians lie anyway, but this is when you start to see how far they really was going with this, okay? When they start being such hypocrites. Terrible, terrible. You know, because also I believe he let a restaurant friend continue with his store being open as well. And and Newsom went out there and he was eating in these fancy restaurants and all this kind of stuff while he had everybody else stay home. It's crazy stuff, man. A lot came out during that time.
things like enough white comfort and no Jar Jar Abrams. I'm not going to let that one go. They complained about a president who wasn't in office for 4 years. The entire industry became the mouthpiece of Pfizer, shaming people over the jab and generally alienating half the country.
That's another one too, man. What a rhino this is, man. They used to have such respect from people, man. Such respect. It's like they just, I don't know, during this time of 2020, 2021, 2022, they just decided to throw all that away. And I think that's the reason why now they decide to flee, because it's embarrassing. All the crap they did just to try to get Harris to win, now it's like, it looks ridiculous. Because beforehand, conservatives might have been sweating bullets, or they might have felt bad about all this stuff, and they probably make some people feel guilty about the stuff, like Arnold Schwarzenegger. But now it's just funny. The fact that Trump won now, it's just funny stuff that a lot of conservatives, YouTubers and stuff are starting to pull this stuff up and laugh about it, like we're doing right now.
Screw your freedom.
And it all might have worked out for him. Unfortunately, all of those non-essential people are the ones who actually buy tickets. Then sometime later, they decided to follow that up with a strike, shutting down their industry for the second time in 4 years.
I made a comment on, sorry if I keep stopping this, but I made a comment on a video I was watching. And the comment was, conservatives watch movies. Liberals want to be in movies. Do you understand? Most conservatives don't really want to be Hollywood stars. They don't dream like that. They want to be like in finance and things of that sort, right? Regular jobs, business jobs, okay? But it's mostly liberals that, they'll trek to Hollywood and sleep in their cars and work as bartenders just to get famous, okay? They love to be famous. And when Hollywood decided to crap all over the fans, they didn't realize most conservatives were the ones watching the crappy movies. It wasn't the liberals. Liberals just wanted to be part of the party. That's all they wanted. They wanted to be actors, directors, and so forth. You can go to these Hollywood parties and things of that sort, like, what's his name, Diddy? They weren't the ones supporting most of these movies. I'm sure they watch movies, don't get me wrong, man, but it was really the conservative people and probably people in the middle that was watching these movies. They didn't want to be actors. They just wanted good movies. And when you crapped all over them, that's why Hollywood lost so much money.
Recall a precious few people within your industry and a hell of a lot of people outside it, including some guys and gals recording videos in their spare bedrooms, warning you that this might not be a good idea. And now that we're a year past the end of the strike, it turns out it wasn't a good idea.
Who could have seen this coming?
Ultimately, it wasn't a smart move as a writer to go on strike asking for more money during the year of the flopbuster. Turns out it was ill-advised to vote to stop working after the streaming bubble burst. Turns out,
think about it, man. It's like we're going through a crisis right now, right? Money is hard to get right now. People get laid off left and right. And these people now are starting to freaking strike. That's what happened recently. What store is this? I can't remember. It's one of these, I think it's Pepsi. That's what it is. I saw the news. Pepsi right now just shut down one of these stores. I don't know if it was Chicago or what place it was, what state. But they shut it down, and they didn't give these people any notices, none. They just shut it down, and not only that, they had the cops there to make sure these people leave. These people didn't get no warnings, and it's close to Thanksgiving and then Christmas, and they love to do it, weekends and holidays. We talk about big holidays too, right? That's when they love to let people go. It's some kind of science behind that or whatever, but I guess it makes it easier for them to do it. So these are the times these people want to go on strike. We can barely afford food, gas, homes. And then these people, I get it. They need more money. I do. But it's not the wisest thing to do that when these companies are laying people off left and right. They started with the tech companies and everything else. So if anything, you should have had some idea. Maybe this might not be the best time to strike. But they do it anyway. And that's the same thing happening in Hollywood. And a lot of people in Hollywood lost their jobs, man. A lot of people. And it's still happening. Still happening. You know what I mean? And I think it's happening more now because they know now Trump won. And so they need to go ahead and do this reset as soon as possible before he is, take the oath to get in office. So they need to go ahead and take care of whatever they need to take care of before the year is out. And also they love, like I say, they love letting people go around holidays and weekends and stuff, man. It's crazy. I got laid off before. I got fired before too, but I got laid off before. You saw it happening around you, people getting laid off and stuff, right? And you're thinking, I work hard. They're not going to lay me off. They laid him off because he lazy or this person not showing up like they supposed to or whatever the situation is, right? No, they just laying out the worst people first, and then they go into the regular people that actually do their job. And that's why you see people so angry about this, okay? Because they work hard for years, you know, because a lot of these people that work for Pepsi, they've been there like 20, 30 years, man. And they're getting fired even before they get a chance to retire. Can you imagine that? It's awful right now. Awful.
It was flat out stupid to go on strike after an entire industry broke its business model.
Yeah.
Ticket sales in theaters are down 30 to 40%, and the core of your industry, the legacy Hollywood studios, are largely in debt. And while all this was going on, adult pretenders in Hollywood found new and unique ways to drive off the paying customer. That reminds me, a lot of us were saying just because Hollywood stops doesn't mean the world does, and the worst case scenario actually happened. That audience you've been alienating has become the competition. I also seem to recall a few of us stating that this strike would end up being a purge, leading to mergers, acquisitions, outsourcing, layoffs, and shrinkage. I was in the pool! And
I mean, yeah, man. The worst time. It's almost like they intentionally were trying to destroy Hollywood. That's what it felt like. And I get the feeling that wasn't their goal, like these actors or whatever. It might have been people at the top, you know, the people that own these studios or people beyond that might have wanted to destroy Hollywood, but I don't think it was the actors per se, you know, but they participated into making Hollywood terrible and lose money. They were supporting all these crappy movies, supporting people like Kathleen Kennedy, knowing she was creating crap, and he still supported her. Now, I understand when these new kids on the block come around and says whatever Kathleen Kennedy want them to say, because they just trying to get a job. I'm talking about seasoned actors supporting this crap. And they understand what quality is, because a lot of them been in quality movies in the past. But now they supporting this garbage. It feels like they intentionally wanted to destroy Hollywood. But I don't think that's the case all the way around. I think it was other people in play that was trying to, you know, either they were stealing money or they just wanted to sell their companies or whatever, what have you, man. But that's happening a lot now, man. It's terrible, man, what's going on.
now we're in a timeline where I agree with John Campea.
The gravestone will say, "Here lies the movie-going industry, death by suicide."
Yeah.
Because they're fucking killing themselves.
And while
it's a reason why he said that, the way he said that. Because him and Grace Randolph seem to want to support Hollywood, even though you know that they putting out crap, but they was big time supporters, in my opinion, okay? From what I've seen. So even though you know a movie really ain't good, a lot of the times you feel like they're being a little biased for some reason. And that's what I feel like. That's why I don't watch him that much. That's why I don't watch Grace Randolph that much. I used to watch her all the time, man. But then I started seeing her doing wacky stuff, man, and saying movies that are good that aren't. You know what I mean? It's just crazy, man. But now it's to the point now he can't defend this crap no more, man. He can't. He got to say you destroy him because this is his livelihood. This is this man's livelihood, okay? He need this to continue in order to keep his job. They keep making money. And if they keep putting out crappy movies and Hollywood falls, that gonna destroy a lot of people's jobs, man. Look, I do reactions. You know, I do a lot of Hollywood reactions. I also do news too as well or whatever, right? I'm not so dependent on this stuff. I can probably end up doing other stuff. But this whole thing, because he got so many subscribers, and he's made so many videos, his whole thing is this. And now he got to speak out now. That's the reason why NERDROTIC is saying, you know, I finally got to agree with this man, okay?
John and I will vehemently disagree on what led up to Tinseltown's self-deletion, it doesn't change the fact that Hollywood is fleeing woke Hollywood in droves. You don't have to take my word for it. These are Access Media headlines from just the last month. Why Los Angeles is becoming a production graveyard. LA production plunged 20% in 2023.
You know, I always wanted to go to California, and then when I finally went, and the first place that I went to was LA, it was terrible. And this was a few years ago, before all these migrants and everything else came into play. It was years ago. It was the dump. I was disappointed. I was like, why do people want to go to LA? It was dirt everywhere, trash and all kind of stuff, man. I mean, it really looked bad. Malibu and places like that, beautiful, beautiful. But LA was a dump. Okay, but that's my opinion, of course.
3 new film LA report finds why streaming content could be Hollywood's final act. Hollywood is dead, according to Justine Bateman. Here's what comes next. Bateman argues the emotional and financial scaffolding necessary to support film business is gone. In its place, we have something of a conveyor belt churning out content. You know, Hollywood running to the guy who created.
Yeah, he wasn't no help. Even though he was doing a few people favors and he kept Hollywood open, the fact that he's destroying California, in my opinion, is somehow it was going to trickle down to Hollywood. It's like they don't think ahead or something. I'm like, look, I can't accuse this man of doing anything because I don't know for a fact, but it seems sleazy, in my opinion. It seems sleazy stuff he was doing. Okay, I'm just going to say that. But some reason they think this stuff is somehow not going to affect the state that they're in, the business that they're in. But it always does. It always does. But these people are so greedy. They so greedy that they don't care until the last minute or until when they want to be reelected. All of a sudden, he's out there picking up trash. I'm like, come on, man. Thank goodness he never became president. And I hope he never will.
Created the business environment that theirs is failing in is probably not the best strategy. Aside from the fact that it's going to be a tough sell even to the general populace of California, considering all their problems, to subsidize professional make-believe. The question is, what rules are these subsidies and tax credits going to come with? Well, that was already answered a year ago. From March 1st of last year, California's film tax credit aims to punish projects that don't hit diversity goals.
Yeah.
And there it is, the underlying foundation of many of Hollywood's current problems, something the access media won't mention, but I will. They're slave.
See, this is the thing about it. A lot of stuff I don't know about Hollywood, especially back in the day. I know more than now than I did before. And I couldn't understand what they were doing. I was like, this is destroying y'all companies. Why are y'all doing this? It make no freaking sense. You know, people had to learn about business and politics after 2020. Because it's almost like you forced them to. Because nobody could understand what the freak was going on. They were like, what the freak? Because I didn't know much about politics either. You know, I just coasted through life, man, you know, thinking everything was fine, you know. But then they forced you to learn about this stuff. And I was like, why you? So I dig deep, watched a lot of YouTube videos, find out what the freak are they doing? This is not working. Why are you putting out crappy movies? Why are you putting yourself in a situation like he's about to explain what diversity, inclusion, and equity when they talking about you getting no awards if you don't put minorities in your movies? Now, I get the sentiment. I understand that people want to have more people like them in these movies that they watch. I get that. But it was the way they were doing it. It's like they were trying to shove it down your freaking throat. And you know people don't like that. People don't like that at all.
Slavish adherence to the message, imposing written and unwritten rules on themselves in the name of diversity, which is truly just exclusion, and it's antithetical to all creativity.
Yeah.
Turning an industry.
Because if you had any conservative ideas, you couldn't be a part of it. You couldn't be a part of it. So much so that a lot of people like Kevin Sorbo, the guy that used to play Hercules, had to start his own company with his wife. Because he just got tired of Hollywood, and so I think he came out as conservative. So they kind of like rejected him. It seemed like you get blackballed for it, okay? So he had to go ahead and start his own thing. You know, which I give them credit. And it wasn't just him. It's other people I can't think of right now. But when you come out seriously conservative, like the guy, Levi, whatever his name is, that used to play Shazam, that he came out supporting Trump, it's like they're hating him now for that. They wanted him to keep his mouth shut, but he couldn't do it anymore because he saw Hollywood was falling. You definitely need to check out that clip, man. It's really, really good. And he was talking to Megyn Kelly, matter of fact. And he didn't have anything against liberals because he worked with liberals all the time. He just knew that things were getting bad and he wanted to fix it. And now because he came out and said what he said, they hate him for it. It's freaking crazy, man.
industry that used to produce some pretty good stuff that would occasionally entertain you and make you think, into a platform for propaganda and content, particularly with pop culture and genre, permeated with people telling you what to think, although their attitude will be,
"We're not telling people what to think. We're just trying to show them how."
and now Hollywood finds themselves in a bit of a pickle after going through all that strife. They come out the other end on an election year. And the question I had earlier in the year was, would Hollywood sit this one out, considering all the overall damage to their brand? I was getting...
Yeah, it was like they already were hurting, okay? They was already hurting, all right? The movies were coming out. If either it was terrible or it was decent, but people still won't go in to see it. So they were losing money. And they got caught in so many lies and started to look bad. You would think they would, like, with this election thing, they wanted to set it out. Most people did. But then there's people like these people with the Avengers and all this kind of stuff come out, Harrison Ford coming out saying stuff. Like, I don't know if they blackmailing these people or what, man, or threatening them or something. But it's almost like they were forced to do it, man. And you would think, like you said, they should have just set it out and said nothing. Because, you know, celebrity endorsements don't work. It might have worked back in the day, probably in the 80s, 90s or something like that, man. But now, after 2020, it don't work anymore. It just doesn't. And the fact that Trump won the way he did proves it. And I think it opened a lot of these Hollywood people's eyes now. That's the reason why they fleeing the country now.
Concerned that we wouldn't get a cringe-inducing adult pretender video. Better late than never.
Hi, you guys. Hi, Avengers.
Hey,
Thanks for
Scarlett.
jumping on the call.
Whoa. I think you mean assembling.
Yeah, how can we be of service?
How about we start with what our voting plans are?
Yeah, he's terrible. I mean, this guy, out of all of them, he's the worst. And this is the thing. When I watch him in movies, I really can separate myself from his personal life. I'll just think about the character that he's playing, and I can literally still enjoy it. It took a while, though, because when I started finding out about these people's personalities, it became very difficult for me to watch them in film. But I'm like, why am I doing that to myself? I still want to be able to enjoy movies and shows. So I taught myself to ignore the crazy. And Mark Ruffalo or something like that, he's really political. I mean, he be on X, all kind of stuff, man. This guy is seriously paranoid. He's like Robert De Niro, man. Just terrible. And you want to respect them as actors, man, but in real life, they ain't the most intelligent people in the world, man. They just not.
They're going to be who we're going to bring to the polls with us, that sort of thing.
I think Kamala Harris needs a catchphrase.
Ooh, yes, definitely a catchphrase.
How about this? I'm just off the top of my head. I can do this all day.
Shut up.
I hate it. Okay.
How about I'm down with democracy? It's just clean, it's simple.
Okay, I like that.
It's hard to argue with that.
Kamala Harris down with democracy.
I don't know if that sounds the way we want it to sound, though.
I think we just need, can we get some production, though?
Jarvis? My name's not Jarvis, but whatever.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I
I have to admit, man, that would have been funny back in the day before you start to know these people.
am down with democracy.
You know, nothing says reaching out and connecting with the common man like an adult pretender who is essentially a professional liar who reads and interprets other people's words for a living, coming down from their ivory towers to read and interpret a poorly written script to tell you how to vote in a badly edited Zoom video. I'd also like to point out that they went to the OG team. You don't see any new Avengers.
Oh, I gotta say something about that, because he made me think about this, right? Where is it? They did this on purpose. They could have did a really quality skit if they wanted to, like Saturday Night Live. But they when they do stuff like this, and this is another thing you have to learn, okay? When they do stuff like this, they trying to reach the common people, okay? They dumbing themselves down to be able to talk to us regular folk, okay? So when they do stuff like this, because he made it clear that they did this poorly edited video chat or whatever, but they did it on purpose. And I think he knew this when he said it. And that what made it click in my head, because he stressed it. So it's like, yeah, they just doing this to reach the common people. It just didn't work.
a professional liar who reads and interprets other people's words for a living, coming down from their ivory towers to read and interpret a poorly written script to tell you how to vote in a badly edited Zoom video. I'd also like to point out that they went to the OG team. You don't see any new Avengers in that video. Where's Simu Liu? Where's Brie Larson? And prior to that, the Batman himself, Michael Keaton, came out with this banger.
You know,
that would have hurt my feelings too, man. It's just, at this point now, I don't even care. And would I watch a lot of these people movies still? If it's a good movie, I'll watch it. And I'll get into the story if it's good and all this kind of stuff. And if they're really good actors, I'll enjoy it. But as far as their political and their personal lives go, I don't really care. Whenever I come across, because I do shorts, whenever I come across them saying crazy stuff, I don't care. I report it, but I don't care. I really don't care. And I think most people don't care. Again, Trump won.
for some of you folks who, guys mostly, I guess, who are thinking about attending a rally with Musk and Trump, they don't really respect you. They laugh at you behind your back. They think
nobody cares. I mean, look, man, it ain't like I'm trying to be Elon Musk's best friend or Trump's. I remember having a discussion with a liberal man in a bar. He was trying to convince me that Trump is a terrible guy. I'm like, I don't care. I mean, I don't care if Kamala Harris is a terrible person. I really don't give a crap, man. If she was doing stuff that made our economy better, I don't care what kind of person she is. As long as she did stuff to help us. That's all we care about. So I'm not like trying to be Elon Musk's best friend or Trump's. That don't matter to me. I don't know them personally, and I don't want to know them personally. All I want them to do is fix our situation now. You know what I mean? But they thinking in the lines of fans, because fans, do crazy stuff. Write them. I think Eminem did something called Stan, and I just recently heard it not that long ago, and I thought it was a very interesting song too, man, because I'd never really heard it before. I'm not an Eminem fan. I'm just not. Okay, but especially now. So they think we run around here and we just believe in everything Trump and freaking Elon Musk say. Maybe there's a small amount of people that do, but most people don't care. Most people don't care. We like the fact that Elon Musk make cars and robots and, SpaceX and all this stuff is rockets and things of that sort, okay? And maybe Trump's business sense or something like that, right? But we ain't that deep into it, man. We not fans, okay? We not. We just want a good economy. That's all.
you're stupid. They don't want to hang out with you. They have nothing in common with you. They're not your bros. They have no respect for you. Trust me.
Let me get this straight. An adult pretender is telling us not to vote for somebody because they wouldn't hang out with us and they think we're stupid, coming from a guy who wouldn't give us the time of day and thinks we're stupid. And then there's Harrison Ford.
The truth is this.
And they do it in black and white too, man. You just gotta to show his seriousness. Because if it were just regular actors, man, it would have been in color. But they know what they're doing. Not just mention, they had the Avengers on a freaking Zoom call, cheap looking and stuff like that, barely edited. They did that on purpose. I explained that. Now they taking a serious actor like Harrison Ford and they put him in black and white. All this is for show. It's all for freaking show, man. To show the seriousness of what's going on. They hire these directors and these film producers and all this kind of stuff to show you that this is a serious thing. You need to listen. You need to pay attention. This is an emergency. Everything is on the line kind of a thing, right? That's why they put them in black and white. I mean, it's all on purpose, man.
Kamala Harris.
I don't care. And if you ever wonder what killed the movie star, well, thanks to social media, we got to know them. The latest example of that, you probably didn't know, a Tom Hanks film flopped this weekend. But this is balanced out by the very controversial statements from Zachary Levi.
I couldn't remember his name, right? I was watching a little bit of Grace Randolph, and she was doing a live. I think by the time I watched it, it was like recording, because I haven't watched it in a long time. So I wanted to see what she had to say about it. And she mentioned this dude, him and Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt put out a message saying that he just want everybody to get along. And she thought that was cool, okay? But because Zach did what he did, because he came out and supported Trump, she was like, you can tell she had disdain for him. That's the impression I got. Okay. And she was like, he ain't gonna get no more jobs now because of it. See, that's the attitude. And then when we turned that on them, oh, y'all just hurting our feelings. Y'all going after us. Y'all so mean and all this other crap. But then they'll come after you in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. This man came out talking as nice as he possibly could. He wanted everybody to get along. But just because he decided to support Trump, they hate him now. They just hate him. And I think Grace is telling the truth. I think the fact that they won't give this man a job again. He probably going to have to go out, do his own thing now because of it. And I think he knew this, but I think he was done at this point. He was done because Hollywood is failing. It's really, really failing.
Calling for balance.
I don't think it's accurate to say that somehow Hollywood is both a liberal and a conservative town. Back in the day, there might have been a bit more of a balance, you know? But you really have to be at a certain level of your career in order to get away with it, number one. But number two, that was also back then. And I think naming just Jon Voight and Dennis Quaid, of the thousands of actors in Hollywood.
Yeah, Jon Voight and Dennis Quaid, I think Jon Voight is a conservative. He's the father of Angelina Jolie, and he's a serious conservative. But yeah, nobody goes after him when he talk about his political ideas. He's right. You got to be at a certain level in order to be able to get away with it.
That you could only name two, I think actually speaks to that. And what that means is there's plenty, and by the way, they have sent me lots of messages, plenty of people in my industry, in Hollywood, that are terrified to publicly say that they would vote for Donald Trump or be conservative in any way. That's why you don't see them. That's why they're not very prevalent or prominent, because they know that there's ramifications for this kind of shit. Y'all, our industry is gonna be fucking gonzo. Like, it already is. We're getting eroded. The pandemic and the strikes and all of these things, they've already eroded it so much. My cry to all of you out there, you closeted conservatives, closeted Trump voters. Y'all, it's now or never. If what you're afraid of is somehow the backlash of an industry that's not going to exist very soon, don't let that hold you back.
Fully acknowledging.
I totally agree with that, man. I totally agree with that. These people, man, destroyed their own industry. And they can't blame anybody but themselves. Because Trump didn't have nothing to do with Hollywood. I mean, yeah, back in the day, he hung out with these jokers. They loved him back then. They had him on their shows and their movies. But just because he ran for office, man, Hollywood decided to step in. They decided it's almost as if Trump just destroyed all of them without even trying. It's like they just went out of their way to shoot themselves in the foot. And this man trying to screen some common sense, and now you know they hate him.
Zachary Levi coming out and making this statement is far more ballsy than any of his comrades in Hollywood. We have to remember that the celebrity endorsement is not going to stop. I find it far more disturbing that it would actually sway a vote. And I think the biggest takeaway is what he said towards the end. If you work in Hollywood, don't concern yourself with the backlash of an industry that's not going to exist. And again, this isn't just some hyperbole coming from YouTube or social media. This is coming from within the industry. Sony Pictures.
Yeah. This video might have been made before Trump won. So I'm thinking that, because I was thinking this was made after the fact, but I think this was made before. The way he's talking sounds like, because he said this is not going to help them with the votes and stuff like that. So he might have made this video before Trump won. So, I mean, it doesn't matter, but still.
Pictures Entertainment CEO Tony Vinciquerra warned that the deals made with major labor unions are suppressing domestic production. The contract terms are forcing productions out of the U.S. now.
Yeah.
The air has come out of the content bubble, says Matthew Bellani, founder of entertainment industry title Puck News. Crisis is a good word. I try not to be alarmist, but crisis is what people are feeling.
Yeah.
And many of us said that the hardest hit during the strikes would be the working class in Hollywood, and that's exactly what happened.
That's what always happened, man. It's always the working class get hit first. Always. You know, before they do anything else, before they lay you off or anything like that, man, they get rid of the workers first before they decide to, like, you know, file for bankruptcy or something like that, right? They always get rid of the lower class of people first, and then everybody else suffer later on down the line. And I think that's the reason why a lot of these actors don't give a crap, because a lot of them make money or already made their money, like Leonardo DiCaprio or George Clooney and Brad Pitt. They don't give a crap, man. They don't give a crap. But eventually they're gonna suffer. I was watching Angelina Jolie talking about she ain't had no friends because people stabbing in the back. Everything is eroding. It's not just Hollywood, but it's also people's lives that believe in this garbage. Everything's eroding. It's going to affect them at some levels. I think it's affecting them now. But they don't realize it. They still they still liberal, crazy stuff, knowing that their own lives is empty, man. I mean, even looking at Leonardo DiCaprio getting all these women, most men would be envious of him because he be getting some beautiful women, but he don't even look that happy. I think he's trying to fulfill himself through these women, but he don't even look that happy, man.
Users Film LA noted are rank and file industry workers, according to the 2024 Otis College report on the creative economy. 27% of the nation's domestic film and TV workforce resides in greater Los Angeles. Given these workers heavy dependence on local filmmaking, reduced project output raises significant concerns. And I think this one almost sums it up. Other Hollywood vets lament that LA is simply no longer a film-friendly hub. I would argue that LA is no longer a human-friendly hub.
You know, I'm not going to totally blame it on Newsom, but Newsom definitely helped, though. He definitely helped. I mean, he makes it to the point people don't even want to visit California at this point. I mean, there's other parts of California that's probably still worth going to, like Malibu, because these are the richer parts. You know, so far, the crazy stuff haven't really penetrated these neighborhoods and places. So it's still good to visit, and you still can have fun. But it's eroding, man. It's just getting worse. And they messed around and put that person in the office. They could have got rid of him at some point, but he didn't, man. Same with Chicago. And now they suffering for it, man. Because these people ain't leaving no time soon, man. They're not leaving anytime soon.
It's not any one thing, it's death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, let's get to my wheelhouse and talk about some genre entertainment, because that's where a lot of those cuts come from. Hollywood has already destroyed the money-printing machines that were Star Wars, Star Trek, and Doctor Who, just to name a few, and they're well on their way to doing it with the superhero film. Like I said, over the past month, we've gotten a litany of soul-searching or navel-gazing.
It felt more like, I'm sorry, and I keep interrupting it. It felt more like they was trying to piss us off than anything else. It's not entertain us. That's what it felt like. We're going to take something you love, we're going to insert craziness into it to get you mad. That's what it felt like. Because after a while, it was like, okay, what's going on? But it got to a point, I'm thinking, dog, man, are you really, really, really trying to make us upset? And then when we do get upset about it, then we call it racist and homophobic and all these other things they want to call us, right? Because we don't like the product that they putting out. I mean, it's insane, man. But that's what it feels like. That's what they doing.
Articles about the destruction of Hollywood from the Access media, and this is one of them. Superhero burnout. With most superhero movies flopping, can Marvel and DC's 2025 slate reverse the unprecedented box office drought? And this brings up the dreaded superhero fatigue, which is a bit of a chicken or the egg argument. Will people still be drawn to a superhero?
Oh, Penguin is excellent, man. I'm loving Penguin. So it's, to me, in my opinion, it's not freaking superhero fatigue. It's more on the lines of story fatigue, because they putting out crappy stories. And sometimes the quality is terrible. Penguin is excellent, man. I definitely hope it get a second season.
Hero TV show or movie that's well made. Yes. Are too many poorly made superhero TV shows and films going to hurt Hollywood's bottom line as a market driver? Yes. Between 2015 and 2019, 25 out of the 30 superhero titles, 83%, took in more than $500 million worldwide. After the pandemic, the dynamic has flipped on its head. Since 2022, 10 of the 17 superhero titles, 59%, have made less than $500 million. And the rest of the article is essentially going over the things that we've mentioned here on this channel for years. DC is essentially rebooting for the third time in a decade. Sony making Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man is stupid, and Marvel is oversaturated with crap. Sony's two films this year, Madam Web and Venom, were at least unintentionally hilarious. DC's had 6 flops in a row going back to last year, and after multiple underperforming TV shows and films and outright flops, Marvel finally got a hit with Deadpool and Wolverine and their upcoming slate in 2000.
And the only reason why they got a hit because they had to go back to the old formula, man. They had to go back to the old formula. 2 white dudes, man. Buddy movie. A lot of testosterone. All this kind of stuff. They had to go right back again, right? Because all this, look, they can make good movies if they want to, right? But they intentionally not making them because they want to put out some type of message. It's just obvious, you know? But because they're suffering so much, they were forced to do it. They were forced to do it, man. And I believe Ryan Reynolds is woke like his wife. I believe he is, but I believe he's more of a businessman than woke. He want to make money. So do Hugh Jackman. Even though they might be woke as hell, but they know this kind of stuff interferes with making money. And you got another half of people that also pay to see movies. And you can't crap on them. At least they have that understanding.
Slate in 2025 outside of Daredevil looks at best highly questionable and at worst abysmal. And it looks like the future of the superhero film hinges on 2 films that release in July of 2025, Superman and the Fantastic Four. There are no slam dunks here, says exhibitor relations analyst Jeff Bach. There's still a lot of goodwill for Marvel, is there? It's the biggest show in town, but to think that these are going to do Deadpool and Wolverine business, I don't see any of that for these films. No, I don't think a Captain America sequel without Captain America and a Thunderbolts film without any of the original Thunderbolts from the comics combined are going to get close to Deadpool and Wolverine. I will give credit to DC and Disney Marvel, at least they're trying to change. That being said, I'm far more hopeful for a James Gunn Superman over a Pedro Pascal Reed Richards and a female Silver Surfer. Hollywood loves and hates the superhero film, but much to their chagrin, it's not going anywhere because they don't have anything else. Still, Warner Brothers and Disney remain steadfastly committed to their respective
and the reason why, because they don't listen to the critics, the real critics that know this stuff. And also they don't hire the comic book people and to help them with this stuff. And the people that write these novels and things of that sort. Because other movies that they do, they go to the author and they go to the material in these books. But for some reason, when it comes down to Star Wars or when it comes down to the MCU, they want to ignore these people. Matter of fact, they even tell the actors, don't even read your characters. Don't even do any type of research. And when you're an actor and you're trying to get something right, research is necessary. But for some reason, they don't want to do it with the MCU, with Marvel. They don't want to do it, man, because they want to completely ignore it and just put out whatever they want. Because they know that fans, the real fans, want to see the real deal. And they like, screw you. And it was proven when Wolverine and Deadpool came out. So now they really are forced. Just like a lot of these news outlets now, they really forced to look at themselves, man, and try to correct this crap. I mean, trust me, still a lot of actors and a lot of people in the news industry still delusional at this point, right? Especially now that Trump won. But a lot of them starting to understand we lose money. And you know they love their money. I thought they loved their money more, you know, enough to put out good movies. But obviously they didn't love it that much. But now they're starting to realize they're losing it. So
DC and Marvel slates well into the decade, and that doesn't look like it will change anytime soon. There still isn't anything to replace superheroes at the box office in terms of films with the potential to make the amount of money. Box says, until we see some genre take over, they're going to continue to invest in it. Nothing says...
real creative people is not going to do woke stuff. They're going to create really good stuff. It's the same situation going on with Elon Musk, Elon Musk. It's like they want him to be woke, but he don't see any good in being woke. He don't see a profit in that. He don't see that being creative. It just don't compute in his head. And that's the part they don't seem to realize. They think he's doing this stuff on purpose to try to thwart them or something, thwart them or whatever the word I'm looking for is, right? To go against them on purpose. But he's not trying to do that, man. It's not. It just don't register with certain people, especially creative people. They like, why am I doing this? This is stupid. Why would I sell all my all the things that I created, all these companies that I made, just to put out woke crap? Why would I do that for? This is not the reason why I decided to create rockets or to create automated cars and things of that sort. That's not the reason why I got into this. And yet, y'all want me just to give that up? People that are really creative don't do that. You know, not voluntarily anyway, okay? So, for some reason, they seem to can't grasp onto that concept. And that's the same with movies. Somebody that's really creative in movies don't want to put out woke crap. That's why, you know, you start hearing rumors about, you know, great directors hooking up with Marvel, and you get all excited about it, then something don't work out, and then you ask what happened. And they say, you know, creative differences. That's the word they love to use a lot, creative differences. They probably was like excited to do something because they thought it was going to get the kind of resources so they can come out with these really creative ideas. But then they found out that Disney was woke as crap and Disney wanted to be controlling and things like that. So they was like, you know what? I don't want no part of this. I just don't want no part of this. But instead of just saying that out loud, they would it's creative differences. That's all it is. So I don't want no part of it. And you're thinking, dog, Disney got all this money and these resources. Why wouldn't you want to work with somebody like that on this beautiful project? Now we know. Now we know. And then they getting these people that don't know nothing. They hiring these people to do movies and they're a flop. All of them. All of it's a flop.
Innovation like waiting around for something to happen. The funniest bit, though, is this article from Variety was preceded by this article just 3 weeks prior. Toxic fandom, how Hollywood is battling fans who are just out for blood, from social media boot camps to super fan focus groups.
See, then that's what they're doing with this freaking election. Instead of looking at themselves and the reason why they lost, they blaming everybody. They blaming conservatives. That's normal. That's what they normally do, right? But they also blaming people in their party too, like Biden, for example. Because I heard they were talking about he waited too long to drop out. You know, it's like they waited too long for him to drop out. It's not just him. But they love to blame everybody else. Everybody else for the reason why they fail. It can't be them. It can't be. It has to be something or somebody else than making them fail. But a lot of these companies are starting to kind of realize maybe it is us. Because we're losing too much freaking money. And now I'm hearing rumors they trying to sell off everything. It's a lot of rumors going on right now that a lot of these big companies are trying to just get rid of them. I heard rumors they were trying to sell MSNBC. But it's not worth for anybody to buy at this point. Because they screwed it up. So nobody won it. And I think the same thing was happening with Twitter. But it still was popular, okay? And that's the reason why I believe Elon Musk brought it. Because he wanted free speech and things like that. But I don't think he really thought it was going to be that profitable. But these other companies, CNN, MSNBC, CNN, probably the more popular one. But the rest of these jokers, I don't think nobody want it. Nobody going to pay top dollar for it. I can tell you that much. But it's crazy stuff, man. They just ruining their freaking companies over this stuff. And then they blaming everybody else. That shows you how lost they are.
Anyone who makes decisions in Hollywood who may come across this video, if you're wondering what led to superhero fatigue, which is better described as Hollywood fatigue, and that death by 1,000 paper cuts, which includes one gaping mortal wound, the problem has been, and always will be, you. Hell, you guys just put out a movie, Joker 2, that literally told the audience to fuck off. And they did. And they felt like you've been saying that for quite some time. Yeah. And instead of possibly listening to your paying customer, you decided to make him and her the enemy. To paraphrase a quote from my good friend Chris Gore, demonizing fandom will turn out to be the costliest mistake in Hollywood history. And you will have to ask yourself collectively as an industry, how in the hell did a few people in their spare bedrooms, people posting on Twitter and Facebook and other social media accounts, know a lot more than your highly paid market analysts? Now, the industry might not want to hear this, but quite frankly, the best stuff is coming out on streaming. And I think Hollywood could fix most of their problems, save for one. Despite having everything you wanted for the last 4 years, your industry has failed, and it's because you with the money. So how do you reconnect with the audience when they're walking away silently, or worse yet, becoming the competition. And no matter what happens this year, you will be forced to do something that, unfortunately, thanks to your corporate structure, you won't be able to do fast enough. Change. But it's undeniable at this point that Tinseltown is broken up, and Hollywood...
Yeah, it's like business people and creative people make a balance when they work together, okay? It works because you're not going to let the business people go too far to ruin the creativity and vice versa. That's how it's supposed to work, okay? When you're dealing in businesses like this. But for some reason, the business people are like, screw it. Let's just go all in on the creative parts of this. Even though it's all wacky and crazy and stuff, let's do it anyway. Let's put a lot of money into it for some reason, right? You know they had an agenda, of course they did, of course, right? But it was a stupid decision, right? Because they're suffering now for it. It's supposed to be a balance here, okay? You can't have one without the other. Especially when it's dealing with Hollywood. When you get into this kind of industry, you need that balance. There was no safeguards, man. There was nothing. Nothing. They just did. The business side just let the creative side just go crazy. Go crazy. It's a shame, man. It's a shame, but you know it is. They deserve it. They deserve it just like they deserve this particular situation when it came down to the election. They deserve it. And you want to hope that they learn from this. Because nobody really wants to hate the liberals. Nobody want to hate them. I mean, there might be a few people out there, but man, I definitely don't. Nobody really want to hate the liberals, man. That's not something that I wake up in the morning and want to do. Okay? But they just really, really, really making it hard, though. They really are. They really are. And the fact that you never did nothing to them but vote in a different way than they like, and they hate you for it, it's just mind-blowing, man. Mind-blowing. It's crazy. But I'm going to end the video here. I'm going to leave the link below. That way you can watch this video without any interruptions, like, you know, my commentary or whatever. So, but I love NERDROTIC. I think he's really smart, and he put out great videos and really make you think. Because I learned a lot from these videos, man. Because, you know, some of it I already know, but a lot of it, you know, he makes you think in a way where you never kind of put it together before. And that's what I like about him. And he make it funny. Because when something's funny, when you're trying to teach somebody something, a lot of times humor helps a lot. Because that's why comedians are so popular. Really good ones. Because they teaching you at the same time, but they entertaining you. And that's great. And that's perfect. And that's what Hollywood should do. But they stopped doing that, okay? All right, so hopefully things will work out. But I really appreciate all of you coming by. Thanks again. This is T and Peace.
Hi, you guys. Hi, Avengers.
Hey,
Thanks for
Scarlett.
jumping on the call.
Whoa. I think you mean assembling.